Focus on this one thing, and you'll be on your way to developing your personal style. What's up, all you good fellow fly guys? It's the Cat in the Hat, your resident fly guy, your chief architect, Michelangelo of StyleArchitects.com, here to help you align your image with your identity so that it always leaves a lasting impact and makes a statement in style. Today, we're going to be talking all about the one thing that you need to focus on in order to truly develop your personal style. So by the end of this video, you're going to have the necessary tools and the thought process that will actually get you to the one thing that will help you truly start developing your personal style. So make sure that you stick around to the end of the video so that you get all of these necessary components. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. Yo, this is a great time for you to be here because you're actually at the inception of really starting to understand all the necessary elements that's going to help you develop your personal style. Now, a lot of other great channels are giving you the how-tos, but we're going to focus on the whys so that you actually are much more intentional with the how-tos that you may be obtaining in other places. So if that sounds like something you may be interested in, then please consider subscribing. I would love to be a character in your lifestyle story. Now, if you have already subscribed, like Aubrey23, Gregory Edwards, Bobby Ray, and Sada TKD, you know I appreciate you. And now all you have is one more thing left to do, and that is hit that notification bell, and that way you will be notified each and every time new content comes out. Now, one thing you may not know about me is that I am an avid reader. I love reading and I love learning. And a friend of mine about 2 years back put me on to The One Thing by Gary Keller. Now, some of you guys may not have heard about this book, and if you haven't, it's a great read. I definitely recommend it. I'll actually leave a link to the book below so that you can check it out. But I actually just re-listened to it a few months ago, and that actually inspired this conversation. And the reason being was because that book was actually one of the catalysts that got me back focused on helping you guys create an impact with your image. And as I was going through the different concepts, I was starting to see how a lot of these different concepts correlated with style. So we're going to use these in order to help you develop your personal style. So the first tool that you can use in order to find your one thing when it comes to your personal style is Pareto's principle. Now, some of you guys may have never heard of that name. I hadn't actually before I read the book, but it actually is the 80-20 principle. Now, I know you guys have heard of that, but this is actually speaking at it from a different angle. Pareto's principle essentially says that about 20% of your investment is going to yield about 80% of your return. And if you think about it, you're probably only utilizing 20% of your wardrobe for 80% of the types of ensembles that you put together. Now, this is not a bad thing. It's just something that will actually help you start cleaning out your closet and really helping you determine whether you love the stuff that you're wearing or if you're just buying stuff out of habit. Which actually takes us to the second tool in helping you find your one thing that's going to help you develop your personal style. And that is figuring out what is most important to you and giving it all of your attention. Now, in the book, there are several different ways for you to figure this out. But for this conversation, I would tell you to focus on quality. Give that all of your attention. Quality should trump everything else. If you don't have the money for it, save it. If you don't have the time for it, wait for it. The part of the reason why all you guys are going to these fast fashion stores is because you aren't focusing on quality, you're focusing on quantity. And all that does is create a whole lot of clutter and confusion when you are stepping into your closet each morning. Which actually takes us to the next tool that will help you find your one thing for your personal style. And that is having discipline in your dress. Being disciplined is not only going to save you money every time that you're going out, it's actually going to save you time each morning because you will have an awareness of what you are not only purchasing, but putting on. So far this has been beneficial to you. Go ahead and put 100 in the comment section and let me know that this is resonating. So the next tool that the book recommends using when it comes to finding your one thing is asking yourself this question: what could I do in order to make things a little bit more efficient or easier each day? Now, I'm going to answer this question again for the sake of the style conversation, but it's still a good question for you to ask yourself. And that is essentially to create a capsule collection, especially if you guys are getting started for the first time and really cultivating and developing your own personal style, I recommend just a small capsule collection that you can utilize for your own benefit. Just think, 3 jackets, 5 shirts, 3 pair of pants, and 3 pairs of shoes would actually yield 135 looks. That would get you through the first quarter of the year. So you could have all these different types of looks with a minimal amount of qualitative pieces and still be considered a very stylish dude. And that's not even including any of the accessories that you could begin adding on, which is going to transition the look as well. So the next tool that you can utilize in order to find the one thing that will help you develop your personal style is living by purpose and priority. Now the book says living by priority and purpose, but we're going to switch that for the style conversation. And the reason is because you need to know what the purpose of your style is. That will actually yield or lead to your priorities. So is your purpose for utility because you are in different spaces and you need one look, one uniform, one capsule collection that is going to benefit from that? Or are you doing a lot of stuff for the gram? Do you want the attention from social media? If it's the latter, that's fine, but it's going to cost you a whole lot more because you're going to be trying to keep up with the Joneses instead of you cultivating your own personal style that can have utility in professional as well as social settings. So I would tell you to discipline yourself, the other tool that we were talking about, in helping you focus your attention on what you want. And that actually leads us to the next tool that you can utilize when it comes to finding the one thing to help you develop your personal style, and that is goal setting for the now. Now, if you missed my last video where I was talking about being conscious of your clothing, you can check the video out here. One of the things I was talking about was Gary V's point of view when it comes to clouds and dirt. He's setting a far out goal, but he's working every day to cultivate that and get to that space. Well, the same thing is true when it comes to your personal style. Why not dress and practice the presentation for the positions that you're going to be in? So if you're a guy who wants to be the president of a company, or maybe wants to be a pastor, or maybe wants to be a basketball coach, why not dress at the highest level and start presenting yourself at the highest level of those positions? Now that doesn't mean that you're going to be in a suit and tie all the time. You want to pay attention to those different spaces in order to make sure that you have the things that you want, and then go ahead and just reverse engineer, work backwards into each purchase that you are acquiring. Because if you can see yourself like that, then you are again practicing the things you want until they are present in your life. So the next tool that you can use in order to find your one thing in developing your personal style is shot blocking. Now, just like you can time block, different periods of the day in order to focus on one thing, which the book talks about, in the style conversation, you can shop block how you are going to be making purchases. Now this is important because it's going to keep you from doing impulse purchases, and it will also hold you accountable when you are moving through developing your personal style. So what does that look like? That would be first and foremost setting a budget for the quarter. So for the fall, you're only allowed to spend X amount of dollars, and then allowing yourself one day out of the month in order to go window shopping or to make a purchase for something that you like. This is going to force you to wait, so it's going to force you to be patient and really see if you want that item. And if you don't have the full amount of your money for your budget, this will allow you to save in that process as well. So the last tool that you can utilize in order to find your one thing in developing your personal style is to enjoy the journey. Now, my mentor used to tell me that men of style do not buy clothes, that they own them. And it took me about a year to really understand that what he was talking about was the collection process, the curation process. If you ever listen to any person who's a collector, they always have stories by something that they have acquired. And it may not have cost them any money or anything else other than just being smart or strategic. And the same thing is true when it comes to your personal style. Some of the best clothing that you are actually going to wear, you may not have paid a whole lot of money for, but it led to a promotion, to a job, to a date, to the love of your life, any one of these different types of things. And those stories, those memories are going to find themselves stitched into the scene of those pieces of clothing, and that energy is going to find itself on top of you each time you put it on, making you feel that much more fulfilled, that much more confident, and that much more impactful with your image. So I want you to try that on. Try all these things on, see how they fit you, and leave me some comments in the comment box about one of the things that you learned from this conversation that you are going to begin incorporating into your personal style. I hope that you do all of them, but if you can only focus on one while we had the one thing, then that's not a problem as well. And if you found this video valuable, I'm sure somebody else will too. So make sure that you share it with a friend. You never know, they may need to focus on their one thing. If you found the video beneficial, go ahead and give this a thumbs up. It'll help the channel to grow. And above all, don't ever forget that dress is nothing more than the expression of a man's state of mind. So you, yes you, should always dress to express. I'll see you next time.